A few minutes after 8:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. We're missing John today. John McLaren is in Belfast with the basketball team, and Wanda's not feeling well this morning, so we'll look forward to seeing them next time. But let's go ahead and consider the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, October 17th. Anybody have any?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If there is none, all in favor?
Right.
Any opposed? So those are approved. And I think we have some visitors this morning with a presentation about a concert. So if there are no objections, we'll go ahead and move that up on the agenda and let them do their presentation now, if that's okay.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much for your time.
Yes. I'm Angela Wiederhold, and this is Scott Waller. We are the co-chairs of the Blueberry Bluegrass Concert in the Park. Several years ago, the Blueberry Festival is huge. It's wonderful. I mean, it draws lots of people in for one day, but we've always wanted to, capitalize on that a little bit and maybe add some other events to it. And Scott and I kind of have developed a great fondness and been to a number of bluegrass concerts, and so the idea sprang about, what if we had a bluegrass concert in Nacogdoches? And then it became, well, what if we did it as part of the Blueberry Festival? And we made it kind of a weekend thing. And we were blessed to meet a wonderful man named Cowboy Barrett, who has done bluegrass at Sadie Lane Bluegrass for a number of years, and they're very well connected in the bluegrass community. So he started visiting with Scott and I and talking to us about the complexities of the bluegrass business and getting bands and to travel and all that sort of stuff. We formed kind of an ad hoc committee with Sarah O'Brien and Scarlett Sloan and Claire Robbins, and this was January or March 1st, maybe, I don't know, but we decided we're going to do it. We've done it now 4 years. This next year will be our 5th year. And we started at Bonita Creek Park North with the help of Brian Bray with the City of Nacogdoches and the Parks and Recreation Department. And we had our very first concert there. And we had about 500 people. And we had 2 food trucks that completely sold out of food. And we had some porta potties, and it just has grown from there. Bluegrass is a perfect partnership for Nacogdoches, a perfect genre of music. It's really all about family, and it's a family-friendly type of music where you can bring your kids and your grandma and grandpa, and it's a very loyal type of, the people that love bluegrass are very loyal listeners, and they're willing to travel to hear great music, and many of them have large RVs, small RVs. That's one of the main questions we get asked when we go to one of the concerts. What type of rig do y'all drive? They come and they stay in large. Most of the other bluegrass places have large RV parks that are connected. But so they travel a lot. They're willing to travel for music, and they go from concert to concert when the concerts start, the series start. So. With Cowboys' help, we've been able to have some really great bands that have a big following, and our attendance has grown from that 500 to last year we had about 4,500 people at Festival Park North. We have a Facebook page, and we're part of the Texas Blueberry Festival page. We promote the concert a great deal, and we're very fortunate from the very beginning that Rex Perry Autoplex stepped up and became our presenting sponsor. There's no way to do this type of music without having great bands, and great bands are very expensive, and getting them to travel here. So we've been very fortunate to have Rex Perry's support, and then of course the support of the Chamber, the support of the City of Nacogdoches, Main Street. SFA has partnered with us and allowed us to rent their buses, because parking is an issue, of course, with any type of concert like that. So, and from the very beginning, First Baptist Church let us park in their parking lot, and when we were across the street at Festival Park North, Bonita Park North, then we have been very fortunate that SFA lets us use the buses, and we are able to use that entire parking lot at First Baptist Church, and we shuttle folks back and forth. Those that, and with bluegrass music, there are a number of seniors. We have that, and we are We're very aware of that, so we have golf carts, and they're on go the entire time of the concert, bringing folks with their canes, walkers, chairs, whatever we need to do to get folks in and out and make them feel comfortable at the concert. We're really growing in our following. Last year was is a highlight for us, because one of the things that Bluegrassers do is they arrive at the concert early. Most of them come on Wednesday. And they'll stay at the RV parks, they'll stay around town. Like I said, they come from concert to concert. So they come in on Wednesday, they stay through the weekend. Two great things happen. One is that they started coming early and putting out their chairs, because that's a big deal. They all kind of want to sit close to the stage. So that was kind of the highest compliment we've had, is they all started arriving and putting out their chairs, staking their ground. And those folks came from Missouri, from Arkansas, from Oklahoma. They came from all over, because they love bluegrass music, and so that was awesome. Second thing is when they come up to our information booth, and we know we're bringing folks in that have never been to Nacogdoches and have never didn't know about it. They came for the music, because they'll say, "Is there anything to do tomorrow?" Because they didn't even know we had the Blueberry Festival the next day. They totally came for the concert, and that's pretty awesome. We're extremely excited about that. We're so happy to tell them oh my goodness, there's so much. You got to get up early tomorrow morning. You need to go home, because the pancake line starts at 7 a.m. And then tell them all about all the wonderful things that are going to happen the next day. I think I've kind of covered everything.
Let's tell them about the survey. When we have a crowd, we have a survey we hand out, because we want to know where they're coming from. We want to know how many of them are from out of town, how many of them are here for the first time. So last year, our crowd estimate was somewhere around 4,200 to 4,500. We had 271 completed surveys, and sometimes a group would just finish one survey. So 677 people were represented in the survey. So we have a survey sample of 16%, which we feel like is a pretty good number to show a representation of the group. About half the people were from outside the county. We had 1,216 overnight stays on Friday night. About half of those stayed in hotels, bed and breakfast, and Airbnbs. And about 43 of those people stayed in RV parks. The remainder of those stayed with family members. 200 people were first-time visitors to Nacogdoches, have never been here before. 3,400 planned to attend the Blueberry Festival. And of those, 1,400 people had never attended the Blueberry Festival before. So we feel like that's a pretty strong number. We started a new event during the Blueberry Festival on Saturday called Pick It on the Square, where we had 2 indoor venues where people could come in and listen to people just do some informal jamming. And so that was we had a good turnout. And also Village Crossing started their Blueberry Jam on Saturday night, so it's truly an all-weekend event. So these are our partners, and of course we couldn't do this without them, but we're here for an ask. Our biggest challenge has been sound. We've been on a very, very tight budget, and Cowboy Barrett has been very gracious to help us out at a very, very low cost. But we've reached a point where the crowd is bigger than the sound system is capable of reaching. And so we're here to ask for some money to have a much better upgraded sound system. We need about $2,500. We feel like we're at the point where if we want this concert to grow any further, we've got to have good sound. That's been our biggest complaint.
Scott, are you talking about leasing it, or are you talking about buying it?
No, this is a one-time deal. This guy comes and sets up the sound and all the lighting.
Okay.
Bluegrass, you have to have lots of microphones and a center microphone. I forgot what that thing is called, a processor, diffuser, whatever, because you have so many people playing different instruments, and it all has to come together, and it's quite a complicated process.
So it's a rental?
Yes, it'd be a rental for it.
Yeah, it's a
We're hiring a
service.
professional.
And that's very in line with what the market is for that sort of thing. Does he come out very well recommended? No, we're gonna get good. And $2,500 is a very fair price. But for that, you think that we're gonna get good clarity of sound and what have you,
Oh,
and good
yes.
lighting.
And lighting.
This is the
But
same
you
person that has run the sound for us for Blueberry Festival Saturday.
Yeah.
Heath Parrott,
Yeah, Heath,
he's
yeah.
local, he knows what he's doing.
He can get the sound out there, we can hear it over when they're tossing washers and
Yeah.
on.
That's kind of been our situation, is you haven't been able to hear it very far, and that's, as the crowd has grown, you're at the very edge, and so if people are talking out by the food trucks, they're missing out on the music.
Actually, we can hear the music when we're coming down the street from City Hall,
Oh, good.
you know, from that stage.
On Saturday.
So that should answer that question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, the lighting has been, well, it's been pretty redneck. It's been pretty janky. And so, we're going to do the lighting right this time so that you can see it, because if people are going to come from a long ways, we want them to be able to hear the music, we want them to be able to see the bands. So this is what we're asking for, to help us out, to make the concert grow more.
And if we were to do this, would we make out, are y'all organized as a 501c3, or do we make out a check to Angela Weederhold, or?
The chamber is our financial partner. They hold all of our funds, and you would write the check to the chamber.
Actually, the foundation.
The foundation,
The
yes.
Chamber Foundation.
And one thing that I'm not clear on is, you know, in the past, we've been involved with a music festival, and there were some issues with that. And I know that our mission is not to be a producer of events, but to be a supporter, a promoter of events. And I don't know I don't know if we need input on where does it cross the line between us using our already established mechanisms like our social media and our website to promote events, and when does it become a financial consideration?
Yeah, the decision was made before I came here because my understanding is that before the CVB was a programming entity, that we did programming things, and I guess at some point in the last couple of years, the decision was made to shy away from the programming aspect and let Main Street handle programming for this specific area, and then we would concentrate on the promotion of those events and all other events in the city. So that's my understanding of that. I guess my question would be, would this need to be, next year will we be in the same circumstance where you're going to need 2,500? I mean, is this a sustainable thing? Is this a one-time ask, and then you're going to be looking for another sponsor to cover sound and lighting, or?
Usually not ideally, but they would probably take a one-time deal.
Yeah.
But these things are generally.
It's an appropriate use of hotel occupancy tax. Where we're limited in the use of our restricted funds is like a permanent sound system. We couldn't do any kind of infrastructure that would, we couldn't mount poles for lights. We couldn't do anything like that. So, I mean, for this service, it's an appropriate use of hotel occupancy tax. It's up to this board to decide if it is a direction that you want to take. It is in line with our mission in that it provides us the community and activity that will help promote Nacogdoches as a tourism destination. So, I mean, it is in line with that.
It puts heads in beds.
Well, that's...
Theoretically.
It brings them to our RV parks. This is a big hotel night stay group, but the community would certainly benefit from the economic impact because these people are going to be gassing up and eating and tipping and shopping. So, I mean, there is that. And so much as returned to the CVB in terms of bed tax, I don't know that we would recoup this amount, for that, but I mean, it's
I don't see much difference between, the conflict you're referring to is, can we support these type of things? What's the difference between paying for that and paying for a band?
Nothing.
See, I don't think we pay for a band.
So but you say we don't pay for a band, but we're saying we're going to pay for this. which is an expense to put on the program. You're paying for the band to put on the program, or you're paying for this to allow it to put on the program. I think we'll accomplish that.
It's more about the results.
Yeah, and
What is the expense bring back, and that's, to me, that's the key, that's our mission.
And if we look at it more broadly, and again, this might be stuff for us to discuss at a later time, but if we look at it more broadly, we're not in the business of renting sound systems or lighting systems. We have a group that is coming to us that is hosting an event in Nacogdoches. Doesn't even matter that they're with the chamber. They could be a group from out of town, and they're saying, we want to do this event, and we believe that it's going to put heads in beds. It's going to bring the type of things that we do with our hot tags, and we are shy $2,500 to hosting this event in Nacogdoches, shy of what we would need to do it the way we feel we need to do it to get the best results. And it seems like we have now. I don't think I've seen us give that much money, but it seems like we have donated financially to events or groups hosting events in the past, haven't we? I mean, let's if we divorce it from the fact that, if we don't look at it as us getting in the concert business, but more contributing cash to a 501c3 that is investing a lot of their own money and other money to host an event, but they're coming up a little bit short. That seems like a business. Now, we may or may not do it this time, but it seems like something that we have and we can do if we vote to do it.
Yeah. What we've done in my time here, I know we've picked up the cost of table rentals for vintage market days. We helped pick up the cost of a radio ad, I believe, as well, because that was something that, that we had built into that marketing budget. I mean, it kind of depends on where we're not set up in our budget right now. We don't have an event, but we don't have a grant funding category.
And that's what I was thinking, that we would have to get into,
We'll have to get creative.
We would have to discuss
If the board
that.
decides to move forward and grant this, we would have to look at where it comes from. But like I said, I mean, it's 100% legal use of hotel occupancy tax. I think.
And consistent with our values.
Consistent with our mission, absolutely. I think things to look out for is, does this set a precedent? So does the decision that's made today open up the gate to other groups coming and making similar requests? Because then the board is going to, theoretically open themselves up to hearing lots of presentations like this. And we don't have a lot of money. I mean, we're blessed with what we have.
We didn't build our budget around doing this sort of thing. Let me ask you this. So 600 people stayed in hotel rooms, Airbnbs, other type things where we collect hot tags. And, not just out of curiosity, and I know that the Blueberry Festival brings in 99% of the people. But last year was a year that it was the Blueberry Festival and the Heritage Festival were not on the same weekend. Isn't that correct? So we know that those were unrelated. Was there anything else major going on that weekend that we could say, I can't think of anything that wasn't. 625 people staying in hotel rooms and bed and breakfasts is nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, no.
Bringing them in
That's
on,
only 16%.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was thinking.
and that's like 16%.
So 30% of the people that,
And Friday night was sold out, and Saturday night was not.
And what,
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Friday night is always the sold out
Oh,
night.
I got you. Well, our vendors, yeah.
And our goal is to turn that Saturday only visit into a Friday and Saturday visit.
Yeah,
Sure.
Sunday.
And Sunday. And if you're too tired on Sunday, you can stay till Monday.
Do we have the money to
do something like this?
That we're gonna have to get into probably.
Okay.
At this point, I mean, money is available. We would have to shift some things around. And then we didn't build a budget around knowing that we're going to start collecting hot tax from Airbnbs and short-term rentals. So that is going to begin in January. Our first collection of that will be in February. So,
Can we table this until, we obviously have plenty of time, can we table this until we
that is the board's decision.
look and take
Do
a
you want
better,
to say that in the form of a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to table it until we look at our budget and decide whether or not we can afford it.
Do I have a second for that?
I'll second.
And we're not putting a time limit on that. We're just saying that we're not gonna give them an answer today.
Do we need to ask our presenters what their timeline is? Like, do you have those, when do you need to enter into a contract with this gentleman? How long is this bid good for? Or
Well, you know, the longer we wait, the less time we're gonna have, if we're not gonna be able to obtain the funding here, to find someplace else to obtain the funding. Yeah. Because we don't want to do what we did last year. We want to do, move forward with this, with a better situation this year, so we're gonna have to find the funding somewhere.
What if we told
We just thought this is a really big fit for this meeting. We felt like we've done our homework, we've got people coming in, we know that they're coming, we know they're coming and staying, we know through our Facebook page and all the online things that we're doing as well as what we're trying, that we are bringing people in.
I have to say, you know, not to compliment the speaking presenters, but I absolutely love it. For me, it only comes down to a matter of if we can find the money. We meet today, and then we meet in the middle of December. Do we?
I would like to have it as a goal to answer this
To have it
question
resolved
in
at
December.
the end of it, so if roughly 1 month from, really, because we had a late meeting this month, would 3 or 4 weeks be soon enough for y'all
That'd
to?
be great. Absolutely.
Okay.
Can I amend my proposal to say that we table it until the next meeting?
Absolutely. And your second is still good on that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All in favor?
And is there any more discussion before we vote? One thing I wonder is if we choose to do this, should we begin working toward setting some parameters in writing? Like, I like the idea of giving funds. If we're going to give funds, I like the idea of giving it to the chamber's development or foundation. You know, I feel really good about that. I would be a lot more nervous if it's somebody, like you said, who just comes into town and we're going to write them a check, and I would.
Like
I would
if I started a music festival.
I would be a little-
And you'd ask you for $2,500.
I would write the check.
Yeah.
Done that.
I wondered if that was
So
a
perhaps we
scenario.
should begin some sort of a framework.
Still,
An acceptable ask and what. Yes. Okay. If there's no other discussion, all in favor of tabling this? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank y'all very much. I'm really excited about this. I'm glad y'all are doing this sort of thing to lengthen the Blueberry Festival, and it's a great musical event for Nacogdoches. I think it's something
Thank
really
you
neat.
very much. It's truly, we love it. We absolutely love it. We love all the people. And of course, we love the music, so that is a big thing too. This is your court?
Yes.
Did you say that, Scott?
Yes, thank y'all very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And now we'll move on to the financial update from Cheryl Parker.
Should have it in your packet, I think. I hope. The only thing that looks a little bit strange, I think, is the repairs and improvements is a negative number, and it's because through the city doing their end of the year stuff in September, they determined that we had paid a bill twice, and we got a refund from them. And so I'm sure that'll be eaten up on something else that goes wacky, because it always does around here in this old building. I mean, the things like the brick engraving expense is, at 30% as opposed to, it ought to be about 8 or 10 right now. But that also means we're selling more bricks, so that's not a bad thing. So I I'll be glad to answer any questions if maybe. Yeah, questions?
Do I have a motion to approve the financial, or do we need?
So moved.
And do I have a second? Any other further discussion? Not all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And next we have a fire panel update.
Keiflinger got back with me with the 2 bids for updating our fire panel. And
So much for that.
he was only able to secure 2, but he feels confident, and the board has already approved the expenditure that we update the system. It's just to let you know, his suggestion is to go with G&G Lock and Safe. It's consistent with what other city entities are using that service. What he wanted to bring to our attention is to do what we initially were charged with, just to sort of patch up the system that we currently have. That total would be $773.20. And with the $25 a month monitoring that's billed quarterly. Below, the cost to replace the entire system is a little over $1,000 more. In his opinion, as a safety officer, we would be wiser to replace the whole system now rather than patch and wait for something else to go wrong and then fix that. So it's not an issue necessarily of what we have is unsafe, but looking at trying to piecemeal it together in an effort to save money up front, it's probably not going to be successful. We're probably going to wind up paying more than this initial cost to replace the entire system up front.
Have we already approved it?
Yeah, we've approved to update the system.
Okay.
So,
Now we're making the decision between the 2?
well, I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Technically speaking, with the board's previous approval, I could have just made the decision to go with it. We didn't have an exact cost at the time of the board's approval to move forward. So I just wanted to do due diligence and let you make sure that you're aware, and I would like your consent to go with one or the other.
I like one.
And is there a $25 monitoring fee with either one?
With either one, yes, ma'am.
And how many years is the new system supposed to buy us over?
Well, our current system was installed in 1999.
Yeah.
So,
So it's about a 20-year run. Well, and I like the idea of using a local company as opposed to somebody from the town. That's a shot at first.
Yeah.
there's that, and I respect the chief's, he is not one to try and upsell us in something, so I trust his.
That's what I was gonna say, I was comfortable with that, and what Ron said. Good on both.
Okay,
I would also be in favor of the new system,
All right.
opposed to patching the old one.
So do we need to make a motion?
just for safety's sake, I think, yes, let's go ahead and do that just so it's in the record.
I move that we accept the installation of a new system from G&G Lock and Safe.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Not, all of those in favor of using G&G Lock and Safe to install a new system at a cost of approximately $1,700, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed?
Next is our bid for technology solution. We had before a bid from MaxSpace, which is the offshoot of Elliott Electric, and they're the ones that do our voice over IP and phone system currently. I did not have copies of that bid for you at that time. Since then, Dudley Hargrove came out to look at what we had. He never got back with me.
I talked to him today. He said it was just, he's semi-retired.
Uh-huh.
He said he could work that hard.
Yeah. And then Cheryl actually made a contact through Keep That Beautiful with Function 4. It is a company that is out of Beaumont. They have an office in Lufkin as well. They're looking to move forward into Nacogdoches, and they actually have a representative here. Her name is Rebecca Drummond. I had them quote as well for similar to what NACSpace. So I'll pass those around as well. My question to you is, if the board would like, I will proceed. I still have not reached out to Scott Waller's group to get a bid for their services. If you'd like to do, I think what's customary is 3 bids to look at something. Technically, we just never got Dudley's, what it would cost to do that. We can discuss this now. We can table it until the next.
I have a quick question. Because it's a lot heavier. Are these apples and apples? It's almost the same.
They really are.
Okay, I just want to make sure without having to read.
Yeah, just Reader's Digest condensed version. The main difference, both are offering leasing options, both are buying buy up front option. The disparity between the 2 bids is not that great. Service-wise, with NACSpace, their business model is break fix. So we wait for is break fix. So we wait for something to go wrong, and then they come in and fix it. And that's a thing. I learned that. And with Function 4, they are more preventative. So they do scheduled, and on that fact sheet of theirs, it tells you the services that they offer. I had them quote out the middle line of service, so not the lowest, not the highest, but square in the middle. So theirs is more just preventative care and upkeep of the system. 2 completely viable options. Full transparency, I don't know that we've ever had a major problem, but we've been working under the break fix model to date, to my understanding, and that's worked for us so far. I think it comes at a little cost advantage for us to operate like that. The other, obviously, you're going to pay for the labor that's put into it, and they're putting in regular routine maintenance.
And they both have 24/7 service.
They're both local-ish. One is probably more local. I would say NACSpace is more local, but before you today, we can table it for another month. Probably, I do know that Stephanie's computer is starting to get hinky, that she handles, video files, and the files that she works with on a daily basis are just more, or larger than what she's doing, but we probably have another month, more than a month. I don't want to push the panic button, but just to let you know.
Of the 2, do you have a preference?
I do. I could make an argument for either one. I wish we had the money to go for a preventative maintenance, full service, just pick up the phone 24/7. The side of me that has to look Cheryl in the eye and justify the expenditure. I don't know that we're there yet. I've been happy with NACSpace and voice over IP. I can pick up the phone or send him a text, and he's here. He's been really upfront and honest with me. We're actually in a situation with them where, and we budgeted for it, our total cost for our phone system was supposed to be $749, and they reached out and called me, and they're like, hey, we just were looking over your account, and we can cut $200 a month off of your bill. Is it okay if we do that? Yeah. Let's do that. No, charge us more. So we've already, what we've saved in that measure, we've almost covered the bid for NACSpace leasing option that they offer to us, just in that savings. I like the idea of just having it under one umbrella, one company handling it. They're the ones that, install our voice over IP system, and it works together. But I also have faith that those two entities could work in conjunction and collaborate with one another. So to answer your question, which I know I didn't, I talked around it, I think the best solution...
You did a good job.
Shields off you. I think the best solution for us right now in our current financial situation is to move forward with MaxSpace.
Okay. Any reason why we make a decision?
It's whatever board wants.
I was wondering, and it may fit within this price range, if my computer could be substituted with a laptop. Secure, the city is hesitant to put the payroll interface thing on your personal laptop because of security issues, and I totally understand that. But if I had one that belonged to me that way, I could do it if I needed to.
I do not know that.
I think it could probably be done within this price.
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
The MaxSpace.
The next week.
And you second. You seconded that. Any further discussion? All of those in favor of accepting the MaxSpace bid, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Computers for Christmas.
So we did an option one, option two, but
Oh, yeah. Do we want to, we really can't afford option one. I mean, it needs to be the one.
$10,000.
I think we need.
So that makes it easy.
Option two. Okay. All righty, now more discussion about music and Nacogdoches.
Okay. Well, I was working on the February Film Festival with Kent Perkins, who's very buzzy. He has a lot of connections within the deal. Well, he originally happened to go out to Los Angeles to watch John Schneider at Dancing with the Stars. So they dreamed up this thing that we're going to do a 2-day event in Nacogdoches with music. And I said, we'll talk about that in a minute. No, we're not in a position to do that currently. But so I asked Chris just to run some numbers for us. Thank you, Chris. To see what it would take to do something like that in the future. So I ended up putting John Schneider's booking people out of Nashville in touch with the hotel. I said, y'all want to do a show? Go ahead and do a show. And just pull us back. Us being our Alliance. Talking to Sherry, we've got a long way to go before we'll be in a position to do another music event like that. We can, festival of sorts. So I wanted to get it out on the table to see if it's something that we want to do in the future and have it as an item for discussion.
Are you talking about, so what you're saying is you're not proposing we get into the music business with these people right now, but rather we begin the conversation about what if we want to be involved in a Nacogdoches Music Festival in the future.
Correct.
I would say absolutely. But, I wasn't on this board when the last music festival was either. But I don't think there are many people they're still around.
By the way, it went well, and so
it went well from the user side. I think it went very poorly for the CVB side. And music festival, it was a miracle that it went as well as it did. And I've been to over 100 music festivals in the city. And they are tricky, zeitgeisty things. When you talk about bringing people in from out of town, everybody's doing a music festival now. And you look, there's a lot of towns smaller than us, especially around Houston and Spring, Conroe, all of those towns have their music festival, and there's so many music festivals now that what they're largely drawing is really people within a 30-mile radius. Because Because music festivals are changing, and community-based music festivals aren't on the cutting edge of those changes. They're generally a something for everyone, and people aren't traveling for something for everyone anymore because every town has a something for everyone music festival. So you get into doing things that are more niche or genre, like the bluegrass thing is a great example. And that's when you can draw people. When you do niche, you can draw people from the larger markets, because if we do a music festival that that has an old famous country star, an old famous rock star, some new young Texas talent, across all genres, you do something like that, literally most college towns in Texas are doing that exact same thing. You do something niche like bluegrass, where and on that level, you're competing with big name acts, because if they get celebrity B over in Palestine for their music festival, then if we have the C list, so if ours aren't as good, they're going to get that East Texas draw. So what I've seen working on the music festival front is people say, well, we're not going to compete with that. What we're going to have is the best, I don't like it. I don't dislike it. I enjoy all music done well. But I'm going to have the best bluegrass festival in like this part of the state, or this season during the spring in this part of the state. And then the most famous bluegrass artist is not as expensive as the most famous legacy artist, like your George Strait, or whoever it is, REO Speedwagon, something like that. So you can have the best in your niche, you can have the best in their field come to your town, and people will come from out of state, because a lot of these artists in the niche community, they don't play shows every single night. They're not touring the stadiums. They're doing the smaller stuff like this. And we could have people come from across the state, from 2 states over, because Billy Ray and the Jug Band or whatever is like, they're rare, but they might only cost $5,000. And there are other genre-based stuff. You could do the Outlaw Country Fest. You could do, there's me, I would do an electronic music. But that's not going to be. So, but when you tap into the niche, when you tap into that, or like Texas punk or Texas rock or something like that, where you have like a set, you have a very specific dedicated following, and you have a very specific group of artists that you're trying to call from, rather than the old model, which is the scattershot approach, then you're going to get people who are dedicated enough to stay in a hotel overnight and do that kind of thing. That's what I really like about the Bluegrass Festival. And to make a very long story short here at the end, I think that when we do approach that, we need to really look at sort of the niche thing, or not just necessarily the niche thing, what is really causing music festivals in small markets like ours to draw people from. And I know there are a lot of resources out there that we could use to get that information, and I would love to be on that committee with whoever else wants to start researching that when it becomes time to do that.
Blueberry Festival tie is big for us. We're here for 9 days.
That, yeah, I mean, for this year, I would say, like, if we can help them, we can help them and encourage them and kind of see what their numbers do, to see what, return. Yeah, and also really push those surveys so that we can find out how far people are coming to see bluegrass here in Nacogdoches and why.
Well, I think that's a great idea. I was approached basically just because I know people, and I just said, it's not something to get behind at the moment, but it's something we could definitely look at later. It just needs to be brought up and need some discussion. We had an unpleasant experience the last time it was tried, and so I said, we got to work with it. So.
I have a thought, and I understand it's probably not going to be directly related to your conversations with this group, but I always like to look at what are our current resources. I mean, we have good stuff. And maybe this is the way the film festival was born, but SFA does a fantastic job of music entertainment.
Absolutely.
Why can't we capitalize on what they're already offering? I mean, is there a thought there on something that's...
Sure.
And I don't know if it's CDB, but...
The fine art series or turn out like that experience and stuff like that is good.
Well, they do it, yeah, every year. They have a series.
There's no.
They have professors, they have students. They are doing music all the time.
All the time, yes.
I think, in the idea that's,
And I just hate that if we're ignoring that. I don't want to ignore that. That's already happening.
well, like the group that they have coming up for Christmas, Daly and Vincent?
Yep.
I'm making that up, that might be a bagel, I don't know, but,
They're going to be in
Daily Vincent or something?
fancy, yeah.
but I mean, they're huge, they're Grammy Award winning, and they're gonna be right there on campus, and what I would love to see us move to is promoting those acts, because I think within the community, they're promoted, but we've got tons of visitors who might not know that they like that, or might hear, oh, they're bluegrass, and immediately shut it off, but if we could partner with SFA Fine Arts and get access to those acts, the music of those acts, and we can play it overhead, and we can come up with on the television screen, you know, you're listening to Daly and Vincent, catch them in concert.
We can have
So it's
our own contact list where we're help pushing that out from the data that we've collected from our visitors.
And we can't, Scott Maddox did come to us, and like we did it for the Marcells brothers.
Yeah.
So that was a huge push.
Yeah, cut you off, but that just reminded me,
No, there's two.
it's just like the Woodlands Pavilion thing. I mean, I always hear who's playing there.
Yeah.
I may or may not go, but I always know what's playing there.
And there's the difference. There's a little bit of a gap. Say the Woodlands Pavilion shows remind me more of like in say Boulder we had Chautauqua, which was I don't know if you're familiar with Chautauqua. I'm certainly not going to get into it now, but they're like meeting halls, but they're very formal. There's no alcohol served in there. You know, that like promoting the SFA events, I think we should always be doing that. But as far as counting on them to be an event that's going to achieve our purposes, putting heads in beds, it's going to be a little bit of an off fit getting people to do heads in beds for a weeknight event that they're not going to be able to drink alcohol. Because I'm serious, because like coming from out of town and drinking alcohol is generally what causes people to stay.
Alive after 5. Tell me about it.
In hotels, but like going to a sober event on a Tuesday night is more for locals. So I don't know that it.
But, okay, I totally understand what you're saying. Totally.
Yeah.
Purple, I'm just using the Purple Experience or whatever on Friday night. What if there was the Purple Experience, whatever weekend?
A purple weekend.
Work on something else for Saturday.
And whether they need to
Well,
do
no,
it at the
I'm talking even
Coliseum.
afterwards, then you go to the Purple Party or whatever, and you go to a totally, it's partnerships.
Right.
It's,
And if SFA would get back when I was in high school, I saw.
they don't have to stay on the campus, they can go somewhere else.
I saw so many concerts, and I saw George Strait, Huey Lewis, Chicago. I can't even remember who all at the Coliseum.
That's all Alabama. That's all
And
Alabama.
those were concerts that people.
But you can't serve alcohol.
You can't.
But that's not my point. My point was, I feel like we have something here that maybe if we think about it and talk to some folks, something might come out of it. That's kind of.
I agree.
When Ron came to me, it just occurred to me, and I wasn't here for the music festival, but and this is from my vantage point, it's one of those, it's like Voldemort. We just don't speak it. We speak around it, but we've never really spoken directly about it. And so to me, and a lot of it in that decision to take us out of the programming realm and into the promotions, the problem solves itself. I don't know that the city would ever support this entity moving forward in the role that it did in the last music festival. where we're financially at stake. Yeah, we do. So a lot of that issue is taken out, but I think just to sort of reconcile accounts, I do think at some point, not today, probably not even next month, I think we need to sit down and really gather as much information as we can and just finally put it to bed and figure out where it ran off the rails, what exactly went wrong, just dissect it as best we can, because like Damon alluded to, this board is switched over. There's really not too many players that are still in the game. But for our record's sake and just for our knowledge, so that if we are ever approached, we have an informed decision to say, no, we're not going to do that because this, or this. Or we can also use that information to advise groups that might come to us with a turnkey concert that's perfect for us and would be in line with our mission, that we would know those fail-safes for this specific nuanced community to say, okay, have you checked A, B, C, and D?
Mm-hmm.
And then just for our own purposes, our own comfort, then we would, we could move forward with in a more informed manner. So
I think that's a great idea.
I think at some point we just need to have that discussion, and it might be easier that nobody was on this board, but at that time I don't know. But
I feel like I have some insight into what went wrong there.
I'm sure you do, yeah.
Yeah, and I was there when some of that, and that's part of it. I saw.
One thing I think we can say, and I'm sorry, but basically the first year it happened, it was professionally produced, and then after that it became more of an in-house thing. And I know that's all I know.
And that's a big difference.
CVB shouldn't have been handling
The CVB board members should not have been handling the money under any circumstance. It would need to be, unless there was a treasurer elected by the board to do that.
There was.
There's just then maybe that's still not a good
And the
idea.
money was just a.
Cheryl, I think, would still need to handle the money or partner with an outside
I think
group.
your comment about a turnkey thing with another group, and our only involvement is promotion. I think the mission statement. I think we got off the rails on the mission statement when we started being the ones handling the venue, the whole thing.
Right.
That's just from what I saw and what remnants are left.
I can speak for the Art Alliance, if it became something that we wanted to do, we'd be more than happy to do our piece. We were pretty successful for the film festival. It's no giant event, but it's maintained itself, it's grown, and it's gotten to be pretty well known. So the Art Alliance can certainly be involved in that if we chose to go that direction. I'm not trying to push anything, I just want to bring it on. Let's talk about it. It's something that we can certainly administer.
I think it would be a good idea to have a committee, like you mentioned, to really explore the successful ones, and also maybe to look into how we might part. It's almost like two different.
Could we do like a workshop in like January or February where it's best if I'm going to schedule a large amount of time for me to do it 2 or 3 months out in advance, because then I can't get full people. I'm like, oh yeah, should I do that? 3 hours in
Some
February.
possible dates and scenarios for our next meeting.
But I agree. I want to,
Yeah.
Does this
Give me
involve
something
the
Facebook
community?
pages, good. It's
Music
not-
friendly or the film friendly? One of the niche that I got from both the music friendly community and the film is that you do it together. Some of the most successful films is when they have music involved. And when you talk to the folks in Houston, they're like, people come to parties too. It's a together thing. So
South by Southwest kind of oriented, by
That's correct.
South by Southwest.
Because there's nothing like that in this neighborhood.
We could certainly roll the two together. I'm fine with it. Just that's
Just
all.
as far as the niche.
Yeah. I like that you just said that. I like that.
But it needs to be another group doing it.
Yeah, and again, we have to completely unpack the other thing. And then there are different options within that, by doing a tag on with an already successful group, assuming they'll have us, or just really expand, if y'all were interested in expanding what you were doing with help of another team, That could be something that, these aren't the things that are going to put you on the map, but they're great money grabs and they get people to town, is like a college battle of the bands, so that you have people coming in from other colleges and they bring their fans, and, you have a cash prize, but the bands have to pay to get in, so to be in it. So you're not paying for your entertainment, you're just paying for your infrastructure. The bands help pay for that, sponsors help pay for that. You have a cash prize, and then you get the heads and the beds of everybody's mom and dad with, band has 4 members, they're going to bring 12 people with them that are coming to see them play. So that's 16 people per entrant, just kind of rolling numbers there. There's a lot of interesting things you can do without getting into the music festival business. If we ever did anything like we did last time, I would agree with everybody who said make it a turnkey operation.
Absolutely.
With somebody who has done it before and has a proven track record. It would obviously be great to find that. In the absence of that, there's a lot of little neat things that we can explore. Like, I love the idea of jumping onto the film festival, getting the university and some college bands and finding out, when I was in college, the college bands here, they would go play like in Houston and stuff, and Dallas and Austin, and they would play with other bands that there on the same bill, and then they would bring those bands back to Nacogdoches to play. So in the 90s, there was a lot of like indie rock and punk rock bands playing at parties and music venues around Nacogdoches, in large part because of bands like the Beefmasters, who were going out in other communities and meeting these bands and saying, oh, we had so much fun playing that show, you all come play with us in Nacogdoches. So there's a lot of grassroots ways that we can get our feet wet in the music thing without, doing Big Nac again. And all this is workshop stuff.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll be happy.
All right, so you're going to get us dates?
Yeah, I'd love
Dates
to.
for
I'll put together some
January.
different scenarios for our next meeting.
Okay, and now we have a marketing report from Stephanie.
Just 3 quick things from me. If you recall, Nacogdoches has been selected to host a seminar in January. The Texas Association of CVBs selected Nacogdoches. It's a destination marketing principles seminar. I know we all feel that this certainly applies to our board. So the seminar itself is created to benefit basically anyone who works to promote a destination, which is us, it's anyone who works in the hotel industry, it's anyone who has a local attraction. So I've been working hard to promote that because it was originally scheduled for September of 2018, which has passed. It didn't make. So we really hope that y'all will register as board members to take an interest in this event, to support the staff, to be there. I'm certainly going to be there. Those dates, it's Wednesday and Thursday, January 30th and 31st. It's going to be hosted at the Padoa Hotel. You can register, it's tacvb.org. And I'm happy to send that to y'all, but I feel that y'all would have an interest in that, and I know it would, I think it would help just support our organization.
January what again?
January 30th and 31st.
And what is it?
So it's called Destination Marketing Principles, and it's hosted by TACVB. And so there will be keynote speakers come in to talk about basically the structure of destination marketing. So everything from hot taxes to
Secret shoppers.
secret shoppers. So there's things that apply not just to CVBs, but to anybody trying to promote just, Nacogdoches as a whole, which really is everybody. We're all promoting Nacogdoches.
And I remember probably about 6 or 7 years ago, we had somebody come in, can't remember his name. That was his whole focus, was how to make your business a destination
Yes,
business. So
exactly.
We just have to communicate that to our community so they understand the value.
Yeah, exactly. And so the Wednesday night, so we're actually going to host a reception for anybody who pays to register. An evening reception will be held at Red House Winery. So that's a cool angle that we have. Come to Red House Winery. Chris is sponsoring the event.
Thank you.
We're trying to maybe get Brendan's Barbecue in so it can be dinner and wine. So an event. And then we're also going to have a heritage tour offered that Wednesday afternoon. That's more for people who come in from out of town to learn about our history. But
And those people that we're inviting are our colleagues in other communities.
yes, and so Callie, I may work directly with you maybe, and so that we can communicate that more to our community to get our local partners interested, because it certainly benefits them. And I know we want to get people registered, and we certainly want this to be a success.
It'll be in your mailer too. I'm going stuff tomorrow.
And it was supposed to be here in September, and it didn't make.
Well, I know the numbers just weren't very high, is my understanding.
Yeah.
Mhm. And so this is, we really want it to, so it's November, it's almost December, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to make them understand they need to do it.
Right.
And everybody will be able to register. TACVB is extended that they can use our membership in TACVB to get the reduced registration rate. So they can register as members of TACVB.
Yeah, I guess what we need to make sure is they understand this isn't a CVB thing. This is a destination.
When you see the flyer.
Yeah, it's a DMO. It's Destination Marketing Opportunity.
Yeah, and that you're exactly right. We have to tell them how it, benefits them and it benefits the community.
You see the flyer.
Yes. But if you'll register for that, and we'll be there. That's an important event coming up. Secondly, I've been working on, we told you about a video room that we're trying to create, which is basically building improvement. So this room right back here, directly across from the elevator, that's going to be our new video studio. So at this point, I've ordered all the equipment. So we have a brand new camera, we have a light kit, we have everything that a video room would need. We're in the process of ordering the furniture. The city has offered PEG funding to help us pay for that. So that order has been placed and the city's covering that, which includes a real cute studio setup with chairs and a table. And if you'll remember, this is a video room that we can use, but also our community. So chamber partners can come in and we can interview them and, what's going on at your business, what's something coming up that a visitor might enjoy at your business, things like that. But that's coming together nicely. We have a bid on carpeting, so we're going to get the room carpeted to help with soundproofing and all of that. So that's just
lighting.
We've got a lighting kit. So we'll have a good lighting
all
setup.
beautiful.
Yes, we're going to try. Yeah. So I'm certainly learning. We're going to have a backdrop. We're going to have rotating backgrounds. So that's up for discussion. But
My goal is to have Mike Bay as the new Dick Cavett, just like
So it's but we'll use it on social media. We'll use videos on our website. So there's a lot of capability, and that camera I can take out too. It doesn't have to stay in the studio. So we can. So I'm becoming a videographer. More so.
And you can do some little city things.
Absolutely, and anything. So things that we produce also will run on the city's, the television, what they put out as well. Channel 14. Thank you. And lastly, aside from just the normal things that I do, our Twitter account, I have handed that over to our intern, Tammy. It's Tammy's Twitter takeover. I'm calling it. She is so good. She's very attentive and very capable. And so that will allow her to run that social media channel, but to have something for her portfolio. My understanding is she'll be here with us at least until next May. And so I'm teaching her the platforms that we have to schedule and anything that I know about that. So I'm just overseeing her in that new project. Yes. And one thing, just a personal thing that I'm trying to do is, I know we report in these board meetings, but I'm trying to make it a habit for myself to think, what can I ask of board members? I want to start thinking, what questions do I have for y'all? Because I know y'all are here to ask me questions too, but what am I doing, with my time? But I'm also trying to be more proactive with trying to think of ways that I can ask for your assistance and knowledge in projects that I'm working on. So just a heads up, I might be coming after you. So, y'all have any questions for me?
Yeah, on the drive over here, Stephanie, I just feel like as board members, we have a responsibility to contribute outside of this hour or whatever we spend here.
Right.
So anytime that you feel like we can help you guys out, that's what I feel like we should be doing.
I agree. Don't
Yeah.
hesitate to contact.
Sure, and that's what I'm trying to do a better of is how.
Call me.
Okay.
Anyway,
So we got Wanda.
Okay.
Well, we work together.
For sure. Thank y'all.
Okay, me?
Yes.
Well, some things that we've got cooking right now.
as y'all know, in October, we started with our e-blast for our sales leads, and these sales leads have been generated from Nolan, which was the purchase of this lead gen that we have. And so that went out, and that was historic, charming, beautiful. That was Nacogdoches, that was our lead. This month, we went out with targeting our meeting space, and that's craving an eclectic meeting setting, and we highlighted Old Tobacco Warehouse on that. So staff does, if you guys want to see copies of this, or maybe we can get you on the mailing list so you can just start receiving them. They're just really neat headers that Hancock has created for us to stay in line with our pillars and our focus, and I think they're great. December, we're going to send out just a Christmas card for everyone, so we don't want to lose our message within the month of. And in January, we are looking at, not sold on, but I think we're going to come back on the meeting opportunity, and that's something Sherry suggested, executive luxury with East Texas charm. And within each one of those, it's not your kind of stale messages. I'm taking the language that, again, Wanda has created for me, this whole dialogue, great information from Nacogdoches, and there's quotes in there. There's just information about our historic sites. It's just wonderful, and if you haven't seen that, I've got that as well. So I just pick a little bit of something that you can circle back around to bring your meetings here to Nacogdoches. For this month, what I'm working on is, again, getting our Texas music-friendly community status approved again. Ron, that was where these conversations have come up. Wealth of information, and really for us, all that entails is, at this point, getting to them everything that we currently have in regards to music, which would include the Bluegrass Festival and anything else that we might see coming up, including the things that happen at the university. So we're not limited to just, certain clubs that we have. And I think having Scott Shaddix over there, and he thinks so big outside the box. I think this is really what he's doing.
I'm just going to throw in too, he works so well with our neighbors, Angelina Arts and the Pines.
Yeah, and we've already visited with them.
Yeah.
And that's how
It's a regional thing.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's a good deal. We're also going to have we're going to host our first chain hotel committee meeting, and what that basically means is our south side of Choice Hotel, Holiday, Hampton, which is a Hilton property, and we're going to get together in regards to positioning Valentine's. We're going to look at them and say, hey guys, what can we do with you currently within your systems to say, we want to create this Valentine's weekend. I choose that because it's first quarter, we don't have a whole lot of time, but the intention for that meeting is to start really looking at our days out, which is what we're always going to do in coordination with Stephanie and our marketing efforts. We want to look at it's in our nature, which is all the things that are outdoor, which will include conversations of which we've already had, or I've already had with Carly over at Splash Kingdom. You come to the hotel, what can we do with the kiddos? Hey, you get tickets, spend the night here and you get tickets. That kind of coordination. I've also had a meeting with Katie over at the rec center. I'm drawing a blank. Blevins. At the rec center, SFA is looking at leasing their equipment, thinking of our groups as another paying customer outside of a member or SFA student. They already do it. Why wouldn't they do it for us? You get to rent out more than you do onesie-twosies. So they're open to that. I've already spoken with Elena over at Stretch ER and Amy across the street. They're willing to be our leaders in our yoga on the board, don't bust your behind in the waters. And Splash Kingdom is offering up their pool as well. We're trying to cross all places and have a lot more partnership. So that's really what we're looking at. Skate Knack, of course, Zip Knack, they're all in to do things and work with our hotels. So we can create this package and somehow get it through their system, which we know they can do. Just a matter of time. So that's what I've been working on. Oh, we do have an invite with our new partner in crime, Uncle Doug's, Victor Morrison. I don't know the place before. Do you know the place? It's out on 29.
It's Harlan's old place.
Harlan's old place?
Douglas.
Yeah, in Douglas. It's, this guy's going to have a chocolate factory. He's going to have a community garden, playground, that there'll be space out there for meetings. So it's called UDUGS.
Well, he registered with us as Uncle.
Yeah, it's Uncle Doug's, his website is
It's
UW.com.
UDUGS, right, I'm sorry. And his
It's
name's
a big
Victor.
barbecue.
And when you're driving through Douglas, it's that restaurant that's.
Yeah, Restaurant Harmon's have a restaurant.
Yes, he
It's got a
built
real
it.
big parking lot, huge building,
Yeah.
huge parking
And it's
lot.
been vacant.
It's been a long time, right?
That's
He's
crazy.
Yeah, he's
Harlem
from,
tried to run a barbecue shop there for a little while, but
it didn't make it right. So there's going to also be an insert in the chamber thing for tomorrow. I'll go over there to invite everyone in the community, including us, to go out there for lunch. It's going to be like a 10 to 2 or 11 to 2 open house on Thursday the 6th.
Sneak peek.
January
Sneak
6th, January 6th or
No,
December?
December. It's coming out. So if you guys could put that on there, of course we want to support it. Cool thing about him being out there, I know it's kind of a stretch, but it just so happens Sherry gave me a lead, and there's a group of homeschoolers, high schoolers coming in. Texas history, of course, San Antonio, the oldest town in Texas. So they're going to go to the mountains, and then I'm like, oh, it's going to be in Altos. So now I've got this route where they can hit 21, come up, do a Uncle Doug's, you know what I'm saying? And then down the road from there, we've got down the Goose Landing, which is old Yakapritz, right? And so, there's some things popping up that'll be a lot of fun.
What's going on at Goose Landing?
It's called Goose Landing now. The guy that owns it's about 10. He's a young guy.
I know the manager, Rob.
Yeah, Rob. Well, Rob brought his child, I thought, but it's the owner.
Gotcha.
And they are doing step by step. So the store will open first. And within it, they're going to have not as full a menu, but they'll have they're going to kind of promote the area around the lake first. And then they should have an area where you can bring RVs. And so it's going to be a slow.
I have to say, I admire them. We did their, ribbon cutting was right before the Veterans Day Parade. They were in the parade. They are very community.
Yes.
They had boats being pulled with people in them waiting. I mean, it's just a neat thing.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
And part of it.
Yeah, and he lives out there, Rob. He's really interested in anything entrepreneurship class. So anyway, that's what's going on. My neck of the woods, and of course, the thing in January for the TACVB.
Mr. Bay.
Nothing to add other than I've got a list of our walk-ins and things that we hosted here. Just to give Joanna kudos, we had last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Pilgrim's Pride. I don't know exactly how that worked, but we had volunteers covering the downtown area. And she cleaned out all of these storage rooms. And so physically, we're in really good shape here. So I thank you for that. Of course, I'm not ever finding anything on here.
It was interesting down here.
Yeah,
I came in and tiptoed in my office and there's a lot going on out
But
here.
they painted, this is not CDB stuff, but they painted all the trash cans downtown, all the rails, power washed the sidewalks. It was really good. It was really good.
And you've sent out the next sign-up genius thing for volunteers
Yes,
to
and
work.
I will do the next quarter, sometimes in December, mid-December,
Okay.
for January, February, March. And we
Sign-up
appreciate,
to work.
yes, correct. We appreciate our board members that come in.
I'm going to pass around the Smith Travel Report while I start. On Tuesday, City Council meets, and I am delivering our end-of-the-year report for fiscal year 2017. The mayor always enjoys it when board members attend those meetings if possible. So if you could,
It's the last one.
it's Tuesday, December the 4th at 5:30. It looks like, from what Jan Vincent sent out yesterday, the meeting should be quick. And I've kept my report surprisingly brief. In front of you see the Smith Travel Report. I know it's teeny tiny. But you can see August, we were down 0.5% over the same reporting time last year. September, we took a big hit. we were down 11.8. But then you see that first month in October, this new fiscal year, we're back up 9.3. We're still up overall. Year to date, we're at 6 percentage points above same time last year, and then 6.2 for the running 12 months. So there's always that slide after school starts, and it looks like people have resumed their travel as previously scheduled. So hopefully those numbers will continue to climb. Mr. Jeffers will be putting out a memo concerning the collection of short-term rental hotel occupancy tax. So we'll be getting those people on the rolls and on the books. We'll begin that process in January, so the first collection will happen February the 20th. So we'll be able to get a good gauge on what exactly that will look for us financially. All indications will be that we'll, even getting our 72.5%, will still see a significant increase in funds. So that's good, because we need to start addressing building maintenance and replenishing our reserves and things of that nature. Any questions about the Smith travel report? This still does not include the Fredonia. The Fredonia is moving strong. That is also included in my end of the year report per Mr. Jeffers' request. John was gracious enough to share with me his numbers. I think the anticipation of their performance as outlined in 2015, they brought in a group, was that the first year they would have total revenues in excess of $4.1 million, and they far surpassed that. And then the estimate was to bring in at least 90 jobs, and they surpassed that as well. So that was a tremendous move on behalf of council that made that decision, and the community that supported it, and certainly the DeWitt family, and no small effort from Mr. McLaren and the staff at the Fredonia. They've done a tremendous job to really reestablish a crown jewel for this community, and we're really, really proud of it, and we're fortunate to have it. So, Penny Machine arrived on Halloween, so we haven't even had it a month. We've already pressed 200 pennies. Thank y'all for. It is upstairs in the lobby. It kind of blends in because it's honey oak, just like the floor, so it's not really obtrusive, but it's directly.
I haven't opened the money yet.
I did.
Oh, did you get into it? Okay.
Yeah, Sadie and I, my youngest daughter,
How much did we have it in? Approximately.
it was about $100, yeah.
Oh, great.
My grandkids did too on Saturday. We were here for the local fest.
Oh, okay, I thought it was 20 bucks.
No, it's 51 cents, right?
Yeah.
Get your 51
bag.
bag, 2/4 of a 50.
So, again, thank you for approving that purchase. It really has proven to be quite popular. We've had people pop in just to press the penny, and I promise I'll shut up about it. In the boardroom upstairs, it's in the process of being decorated. That is going to be decorated with the theme of matriarchs of Nacogdoches. There'll be personalized ornaments highlighting some of the women of our past and present who have contributed to Nacogdoches. And so it will not be all-inclusive, but I hope to make that a tradition and build upon that every year. So that should be done by the end of this week.
When you talk about that, are you talking about people like Katie Wright, Westbury?
And
Betty Shin.
yep, yes. Lucille Bain. So we're trying to get a good mix of past, present, and even some of our younger emerging female leaders as well. That Brian Russell has been helping me collect names. Mike has been helping me collect names, and I've been trying to reach as many people as possible. And again, we're fortunate that that's our problem, that we have so many that I know that we're going to miss some, but hopefully with the understanding that this is going to be something that we repeat every year, that we can just continue to add to that. We have, we're going to be updating our coffee bar. Nine Flags generously sponsors our coffee upstairs. That's proven to be successful for us and for them. Mike does an outstanding job of always educating the guests as they get their coffee that if they really like it, they can go down to 601 East Main Street and purchase. And I've heard back from Shane and Nine Flags that those people that's converting into sales for them. So we're happy to be. Thanks. Joanna was crucial in securing that deal, and full transparency, she went to all of the coffee establishments, locally owned coffee establishments, and offered, a rotating deal. And Nine Flags was the only one that took us up on our offer. So it's very generous of them. We're going to be adding a hot water dispenser as well with sticks of instant decaf coffee and tea, just to service people that aren't ready for the fully leaded Guatemala or whatever you might have. But I've ordered coffee cups, 8-ounce coffee cups with lids, and they've got branded sleeves on them we have a knack for that. And then on the back of that, there are 20 fun facts about Nacogdoches that you might not know, and they rotate through. Those should be here next week, hopefully. We've also purchased a thermal name tag printer, and I've been, as I speak to different community groups, encouraging any groups that need name tags. What we were doing is buying Avery labels for every group that came in and running those through the copy machine, and that just wasn't a really cost-effective measure because those labels come at a cost. So much more affordable to buy bulk. We have sticky back labels. We also have lanyards and just cardstock and plastic sleeves that we could do for groups. So if in your private endeavors or if you know of any other groups, we need to start honing that service process for us. So if you can just get us, we just need the names in an Excel spreadsheet and we can print out. It's a little tiny thermal printer, so there's no ink, there's none of that, and so it'll free up our copier and just free up that expense there. So. Echo what Mike mentioned with Pilgrim's Pride, we now have a file room, we've got a furniture room, we have a work room, we've got an events room. So now things have a place to go. They completely cleared out. This will be Cheryl's office. We're going to get that carpeted as well. So that'll be another usable space. Joanna came in and spearheaded and bossed those people around like nobody's business, and she did a great job. So that was very much appreciated. We will be sending out a Christmas card. I made an executive decision and wanted an actual Christmas card that people have laid hands on. We have a full page ad in the Chamber's 100 year.
It's beautiful.
We look like an action news team.
It's a great.
Mike is lead anchor.
A century of distinction.
Yeah.
Section. It's going to be cool.
We had a professional photo for that ad, was my point, by Clay Ashton. Yeah. He did a really great job, so we used that picture on an actual Christmas card. So we'll be sending those out to our community partners. The theme of that is in all things gratitude, just to express to our partners how thankful we are to be here to represent the oldest town in Texas and to be able to work with them. So that is something just personally that's important to me. So I just wanted to do that. We'll be I have ordered some new merchandise, nothing big, everything, the cost will be covered, but trying to put together some holiday offerings, gift packages that somebody could just come in if they wanted to buy a gift. So there's one will be a movie themed, so it'll have a copy of Big Jake, it'll have a copy of Duck Soup, and it'll have, why that's important. We have a knack for film. So along with our theme that people can come in and purchase little things like that. So we'll be very low end, no high inventory or anything like that, but we'll be pushing that out on social media and see how that goes. And then lastly, I've been asked to speak at TRAPS, which is a Parks and Recreation regional conference in January, to speak specifically about community partnerships with CVBs, and that was based on the reputation that has been pushed out in East Texas about how well Nacogdoches is operating between city and outside entities in the CVB. So wanted to let you know that that is something that's being recognized by not just our peers in our travel and tourism industry, but in other industries as well. So that is Tuesday, January the 22nd, and it's actually in Conroe. So
That's cool.
yeah, I was really great. I was on it. I was like, is Sherry working? Did you get the right number? That's all my report.
Question,
Yes.
talk about space. Has Marty moved in?
Not yet. We needed to clear that out so that we had a place for Cheryl's stuff. Marty's bringing in our own furniture. She's going to hire movers to orchestrate all of that. So it was one of those.
It's in process.
Yeah, we had to shuffle some things out, and then the Pilgrims opportunity dropped in, and we were like,
that's
okay, well,
great.
while we've got this manpower,
There's
let's
an enormous amount of stuff in there.
let's just pull everything out. I also spoke with Jan Vinson and Michael Donnell over with the city about how long do we need now that we're technically a part of the city, about record retention. So now I have a file room that I can go just bury myself in and shred what needs to be shredded, file and scan in what needs to be scanned in. So then that's been something that's been needing to be done for a while now. But thanks to Joanna and the volunteers at Pilgrim's Pride, now we've got space to move Cheryl into her new space that she so generously offered to give up. Marty can go into that space probably about 2 weeks. We just need to get that carpeted, get phone and computer set up. I don't want Cheryl to be moved in there. She doesn't.
And maybe pins in the door because there's no
Yeah.
air in there.
Well, I popped open the top, that's all.
There's windows, but.
Yeah, we've got to address some air in there.
No, that's open, you can stick your finger through the.
Oh, so it's not glass.
Oh, no, I popped it. There was no glass and it was a board, so we popped it board.
But we're still going to get you
I
ventilation.
only need to get glass too.
You need a, yeah.
There's stuff in there.
Marty Prince, she is the executive director for the Forest Trail region. I think that was a meeting maybe that you missed. We approved her. She currently offices out of City Hall. So yeah, the board approved that she come in office over her. Over here, the charge of the Forest Trail region is the promotion of heritage tourism. So her mission is in line with what we're doing here. And it really never made sense for her to be over in City Hall because she was literally stuck like in the way back where you have to go through doors upon doors upon doors to even find her. Yeah, and she also used to work for the CVB as well, and she volunteered in exchange for this agreement. We'll get a reduced membership fee into our affiliation with the Forest Trail region, and she can help fill in at the desk if we need it because she's a local and she's got all of the knowledge and she's worked here before, and she's just a quality person.
And if anybody wants to see the rooms, and I'd be happy and very proud to show them. They're amazing.
I can see a file room. Is there room for the files that are in my office that have to be
You
moved?
just wait.
Okay.
I mean, it is like amazing.
Okay, so our next meeting, I believe, will be December the 19th.
That works for everybody.
There is no other conversation that needs to take place. We will be adjourned.
See everybody at the parade.